Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And in this particular video, I want us to look at why Raila Odinga failed to show up on the streets during Azimio demonstrations in Nairobi earlier today. For those who've been following Azimio rallies, there's a way they are normally designed. And towards a few minutes past midday normally, Raila Odinga would always emerge from some unknown quarters. Today, Raila Odinga's convoy emerged from some unknown places, and then it headed towards the CBD. In fact, it was very clear that those who were in that car, especially the lead car, knew almost all Panya routes in Nairobi. They were able to dodge the police at every other point. Then when they reached a certain point, they split themselves into, I think, 3 groups. Then before Kenyans knew, Raila Odinga was addressing the press at his office in Jaramogi Oginga Odinga's office, Joff. But why do you think Raila Odinga never showed up on the street today? Is it possible that he was defeated by the police? Or was it strategic? In this video, I want us to give you the main reasons why I think Raila Odinga never showed up on the street. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is now. Let us get straight to the points. Why do you think Raila Odinga never showed up on the streets today? At least nobody saw Raila Odinga getting out of his car. Nobody saw Raila Odinga in any of the cars. There's a joke that those cars were actually carrying, that Raila Odinga's car was carrying Nuru Okanga. But why do you think Raila Odinga decided today not to show up? For me, I have 4 or 5 reasons why Raila Odinga never showed up on the screens, on the streets. Number 1, let's agree that Kenya Kwanza government is capable of doing anything and everything. And let's also agree that Raila Odinga has his intelligence up there. So there were these stories that Kenya Kwanza had paid goons to fight or to attack Raila Odinga's convoy. The effect of that would have been ugly encounter, probably bloodbath. So to avoid that, Raila Odinga decided that he was not going to appear on the street. Because, at any point, if Raila Odinga had managed to get out of his car to speak to his people, that would have changed everything. So for me, I think the extent in which Moses Kuria, because he talked of it himself, and the government were prepared to counter these Azimio Demos is what forced them just to do whatever they did. And you could see the signs earlier in the day. For me, the moment I saw Babu Owino alongside Sifuna and other Nairobi MPs, I knew that those demonstrations were not going to be the way they are normally. And probably I thought that Raila Odinga was going to emerge in a county outside Nairobi. And let me not lie, I thought that would emerge from Mombasa. But that did not happen. So it means he avoided that encounter. Because yesterday you saw some youths in Kibra challenging Raila Odinga. You know, Kibra is Raila Odinga's stronghold. So if these guys manage to pour goons in Kibra to counter Azimio, because initially in the morning they were attempting to block people from leaving the houses in Kibra. So you didn't want that. Number two, something is also convincing me, almost 99%, that this appearance of Raila Odinga or today's rally was designed like that because Kenya Kwanza and Azimio or Ruto and Raila are talking. And because they are talking and all of them are talking also tough, Raila Odinga agreed with them that I've called for this demonstration. There's no way I can postpone it. So it has to go on. Then Kenya Kwanza were like, you know, our team had also organized certain things. You know, banning this vehicle here, banning that lorry there, sending these goods here. So let's go to the street. But the police were not going to interfere. How come today we never saw those police buzzers? Why? Do you think it was a coincidence? Well, that's the easiest way to block Azimio demonstrators because they've actually proved effective. Yeah, so for me, I'm convinced that Ruto and Raila are talking. And I'm seeing several hands in that move. So it could be they are talking. So they agreed, okay, Agwambo don't go hard, Ruto don't go hard. So we were treated to that drama. Number three, which I think is the most important, and let me just refer to so that I don't miss anything. I think there is serious international pressure on both Ruto and Raila. And the international pressure is for Raila to call off the demonstrations and Ruto to agree to talks. And this is going to play out. The truth is, the international community has a lot of interest in Kenya because of Kenya's place as a strategic partner to them. The US, the China, everybody has an interest in the country. But the West installed Ruto. So they can't allow Ruto to leave. But they also don't want to leave Ruto with a lot of powers. So they're pushing for the creation of the office of the official opposition. So they're piling pressure on these guys. The other day, Mo Ibrahim was in the country and you heard what he talked about, that he was going to meet Raila Odinga for lunch. That Sunday, was it Sunday? Yeah, I think so. Raila Odinga never joined his Azimio partners when they went for that prayer. Where was that prayer? Somewhere in Nairobi. So I'm 100% convinced these guys met with Raila. Now let me just show you something. According to communications which are available, on 3rd, which is tomorrow, will be official visit of the Prime Minister of Japan in Kenya, who has already landed in the country for 2 days visit. So the Prime Minister of Japan is already in the country. He arrived earlier today. You can't have such kind of high-profile leader, then you have demonstrations, serious ones. So that's one. On 3rd, again, visit by UN Secretary General, His Excellency Antonio Guterres. If you ask me, this guy is coming to Kenya for 2 objectives. The first objective is the peace in Sudan. William Ruto is already playing a leading role in peace process in Sudan, and Kenya is a strategic partner in that process. And there's no way the UN can lead those talks in Sudan while in Kenya there's no peace. So his second mission in the country is to broker a deal. That's another high-profile individual. On 5th, because Raila Odinga is saying that on 4th they'll have Maandamano. So if you look at this program of these guys, there's nothing on 4th. On 5th, official visit by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. William Ruto was in Germany the other day. The Chancellor is coming here. Raila Odinga has a history with Germany. All these people are coming into the country to pile pressure on these two gentlemen to meet. And because they're already here, Ruto would not have wanted a situation where it's reported police brutality and things like those. So these guys had to operate the way they operated. Peaceful. Number 4, why Raila Odinga probably cancelled this, in my view, is that he wanted to expose government of Kenya's dirty hands in destruction of properties. If you followed the events today, and I've seen the Kenya police issue some statement where they're listing how Azimio's protests today were violent. If you studied everything there, you come to the conclusion, if you are sensible. I know there are those who are not sensible. I don't want to get into that. But anybody who is sensible would tell you that the burning of that matatu, lone matatu on a road, the burning of that lorry, a lone lorry on a road, lone lorry, and the alleged looting of a petrol station on Thika Road by goons, all of them men. Azimio rallies always have women. All of them men, with no single tear gas. You know, there was a point when Azimio leaders convoy reached CBD. The moment they were tear gassed. But now we are talking of a lorry stuck in the middle of the road trying to navigate. Then the police are there, a group of people coming, no tear gas was thrown. Then this gentleman was interviewed by Citizen First. The guy says that he was transporting what? Electric wires. KTN interviews the driver. Another driver, you know, this vehicle had 2 drivers. Another driver interviewed is saying that he was carrying metal. And a gentleman on this platform, let me just show you, who is in the field of logistics. I don't know whether I can get it. The guy tells me that, Lee, I'm in the logistics. He told me this without any, I never even asked him. He just told me that, Lee, I am in the logistic sector, but I read a lot of, where is it? Yes. He's saying, hello, Lee, hope you are doing well. This issue of track I see to be a propaganda. You know, this guy, this was around 5. I am a logistician by profession, and this is what I'm practicing for the last 17 years. When a driver is leaving with a loaded truck or container, we always provide him with a loading manifest, knowing what he's carrying and the quantity. This driver is saying sijui chenye nimebeba ni cables, ama ni kwa sababu wameandika 2 cables. I'm reading fishy issues on this. So normally if you are a driver and you are of a truck, you are given specific items to carry with manifest, so that by the time you're leaving, you know, I'm carrying this, and I'm carrying this. And the guy is telling me, then kuna madereva, then saying kuna madereva managed to escape their vehicle windscreen shattered, we should be shown. I dealt with the drivers who used to siphon fertilizers from bags, and even others stealing and pushing trucks in ditch so that people could scramble for the few remaining items on the truck they have looted themselves. So Raila succeeded in fixing these people. Kenya Kwanza goons are in this. So that's just one of you guys just telling me, as someone who has been in that profession, that what that guy is saying. By that time, he was telling me that the only person who had been interviewed by Citizen. Then another driver of the same truck was also interviewed by by KTN. So a lot of things. So I think they wanted to show the country who has been responsible for destruction of properties. It was clear. In Kisumu, there were those attempts, but the demonstrators were dealing with them ruthlessly, so they couldn't do them here. And lastly, I also tend to think that Azimio leaders feared that they could be eliminated. There were those attempts. They just didn't want to take chance. So let us wait for, when will be this? For 4th, which is Thursday, and see how things are going to unfold. I'm sure, and I'm repeating, that I'll go with the talks ongoing, and number 2, international pressure. Let me hear your thoughts on this, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.